Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Bass 365 live cast. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. It's been a pretty busy week. Lots of stuff going on, lots of new news coming shortly from Bass 365 and some of our anglers. We got a pretty exciting show tonight. Two young men just won $1 million. That's crazy for a bass fishing tournament. It may be a record when you add everything that they got in addition to it. Either way, it's a big tournament on a amateur level, so they say. There's some hammers fishing it. We got a special co-host tonight, my buddy right here, Mr. Alan McGuckin. What's up, Alan?
Hey, buddy. Grateful to be here. Honored to be here.
Glad you're here, man. I'm gonna need all the help I can get with this one. Wow. What can you say about that event at Bass Pro Shops?
Well, I don't know where to begin. There's a lot of things. I've been in the business 26 years, Ricky, and I'm not sure I've ever been around an event like that, certainly. And what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, the obvious. These guys are going to be on here with us. They won a total of $1 million, 2 Toyota Tundras, 2 Nitro Bass boats. So the prize, obviously, was unprecedented. But also, just as importantly, was the donation made to conservation. $1.5 million contributed to conservation, more specifically, habitat restoration in bass fishing reservoirs. And that was made possible through angler entry fees throughout the year. This was not a money-making deal for anybody. It wasn't for Bass Pro, Johnny Morris, Toyota, anybody involved. It was all the entry fees were intended eventually to go to conservation. And so they did in the form of $1.5 million to restore habitat for bass in our aging reservoirs. So aside from the incredible prize that Logan and Tucker won, everybody won that loves to fish for bass because it's going to go to habitat restoration.
Wow. Somebody that wanted to get involved with that real quick, Alan, where would they go to check that out? Oh, I think he froze up on us.
Well, to learn about where... Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. To learn the details of where the money will go, you could read about that, I'm sure, on the official Bass Pro US Open website. But there's a variety of organizations that all teamwork together, if you will, to share in those contributions, but all in the interest of habitat restoration.
Gotcha. All right. Well, look, let's don't make these guys wait any longer. So here we go. Tucker Parks, Logan Parks, Tucker Smith. What's happening, guys?
What's up?
Y'all got a little bit fatter wallets.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
So looking back at this event, everything I've read on it, you guys didn't have a lot of experience on the lake, didn't have a lot of practice time. Can you just kind of talk about how the event played out and maybe how you figured out the fish?
Yeah, I mean, my dad, he asked us if we wanted to fish the $1 million tournament, and to be able to fish that tournament, you had to qualify. So we didn't have much time to make things happen. So we had to fish the last qualifier event at Bull Shoals. And, we didn't have much time because we were in South Carolina. We were fishing a tournament on Lake Wiley. And so we had to drive all the way from there, all the way to Bull Shoals, which is 15 hours. So we got a day and a half of practice there. We ended up finishing third at Wiley before that. So we drove all the way to Bull Shoals and we're able to fish the last chance qualifier and finish 13th. And then we went to the championship after that with the half day of practice.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. And just so our viewers know, can y'all just shout out your ages?
Shout out our ages.
Your ages, yeah.
I'm 20 years old.
Logan?
I'm 23.
23, so combined age of, wait a minute, can't be
43.
right. That can't be right.
43.
Guck, I'm feeling really old, man. Guck's having some connection issues. I'm gonna go ahead and take him off screen for a minute. Both y'all fish for Auburn. You know, the school has a history of producing some killer bass fishermen. Can you talk a little bit about your backgrounds and where you came from?
Yeah, I grew up actually in Auburn. I went to Auburn High School, where I helped start the Auburn High School bass fishing team with some of my buddies, and we started that in 8th grade. So I grew up, fishing high school tournaments. I actually didn't start competitively fishing until we started the team in 8th grade, and then went on to fish for Auburn University because Jordan Lee actually came to one of our first meetings, and he was like a really big inspiration. He wore his Auburn jersey. That was back when he was at Auburn, and to see him go on and win back-to-back classics, that kind of sealed the deal on where I wanted to go to school.
Right. How about you, Tucker?
What was the question again? I didn't.
Just a little bit of your background and how you got started in bass fishing.
Yes, sir. I started fishing with my uncle and my grandfather, and I started fishing at a young age like Logan, and they were the first ones that really got me out and kind of showed me the ropes. And then from there, I had great mentors in my life, Joey Nania and Aaron Martins. Those were kind of like the biggest two for me, and they kind of, showed me in depth of what it really is like to be a fisherman and like all the stuff that goes into it. And I learned a lot from them. And then from there, I started tournament fishing, and I started in high school, and my dad would boat captain me, and along with some other friends, and started fishing there. And I had 3 high school national championships in high school, and I took that momentum and brought it to college and started fishing with Logan last year.
Wow. So you're a freshman. You were a freshman last year.
Yes, sir. I'm a sophomore now.
And Logan,
I'm a super senior. I graduate in a couple weeks.
Oh wow! Congratulations. What's your major?
I'm majoring in supply chain management.
That's probably a good thing to be majoring in right now. What do you think, Alan?
I'd say you're right on time with that, pal.
What do you have for him? I know you're dying to ask him something.
Well, I don't know that I'm dying to ask them something, but what I would tell everybody that's joined us or that's watching is these two guys didn't just get lucky at Table Rock 10 days ago. They're both very decorated anglers, even at their young ages. So they were just achieved the mark of college team of the year. So there's hundreds of teams, obviously, that fish in collegiate bass tournaments. These guys right here are the team of the year. So what happened at Table Rock was no fluke. These guys are very decorated young anglers.
That's
pretty
impressive. So like when you guys got to Table Rock without a little, with very little practice time, how did you go about, even starting that? I think that's a big thing for anglers, everywhere. I get that question from my anglers a lot. How do you start? How do you start on a lake you really don't have any time on? We
used our pre-qualification tournament, at Bull Shoals, the last chance qualifier. We knew we hoped they probably fished about the same. And how we caught them there, we found some deep bait and caught them using the hand optics. So that's kind of what we try to do at Table Rock, just kind of apply the same pattern. We started looking in creeks in about the 70-foot depth range, just out in the middle of the creek channel, because that's what we were doing at Bull Shoals. And after about 3.5 hours of finding no bait at all, we began to look out on the main lake, and that's when we located the bait, and we're actually able to start finding some bass. Right.
One of y'all's got a little bit of background noise or something coming in there. I don't know which one. Sounds like something. Maybe somebody clicking on a keyboard.
Yeah, I can hear it.
There we go. Somebody was typing away. So Wyatt Guthrie wants to know, and I got you guys to bring some props with you, is what kind of baits were y'all using to catch them?
We were throwing mostly a Demiki rig. I've got one right here. Let's see. But it's basically just a jig head with a small fluke style bait on it, and we were throwing it on light line. 10 and 12 pound test, which is honestly not as light as most people throw it on. But once you hook those fish, you'd be able to reel them in, and you wouldn't really have to worry about them breaking off with 12-pound line. That's what I was using. And then for the rod, I was using a 6.9 medium light H2O rod. That's what I throw. And then I was using a Xenon spinning reel. But that was kind of the setup that I used.
Yeah, I was throwing the new Abu Garcia Xenon setup, the spinning reel, and the 610 medium light Abu Garcia Xenon rod, and just a standard jig head with the power bait max scent flat nose minnow, the 4-inch in white pearl. I think the max scent kind of helped with some of those finicky smallmouth.
Right. I wish I knew what that daggone noise was. That's the beauty of these live things, though. You never know what's going to happen. So everything I read looked like y'all got off to a kind of a rough start. And I think, being so young, how do you stay positive? Or have you just done it enough to see that things are going to go your way if you just keep your head down and keep fishing?
What do you mean by a rough start?
Well, the first day I thought I read where y'all didn't have like one keeper at noon.
We were catching around 10 a.m. every day.
Right.
The first day there was a fog delay, so we didn't get to start fishing until about 9:30. And we didn't really get our fifth keeper until about 2 p.m. But they were all good ones. So, we just felt like if you just stayed persistent and stuck with it all day long, that, you'd get the right bites. That's kind of what we learned from Bull Shoals is that, it didn't fire up until the afternoon. So the key was just to stay patient and stay at it.
Right. And I think that's pretty impressive for two young guys to be able to stay that focused all day long. Alan, we talked about the it factor before. Can you just kind of tell everybody what that is?
Well, I'm not sure I can describe what it is. I can tell you I get asked all the time and have for years, what makes these guys pros? What makes these guys so good? And it's my best explanation is it's no different than being a Major League Baseball pitcher or a professional golfer. Of the thousands or millions of kids that pitch a baseball or hit a golf ball, there will only be a very small percentage that are good enough to do it professionally. And sure, they put the work in and they practice and they put the work in. But I also really believe and have always believed that our sport is no different. It's sort of a God-given talent. And that's what we call the it factor, if you will. And that's the best way I can explain it. These guys have a God-given ability to find and catch fish, and with emphasis on find. My 85-year-old dad can catch them if I find them and put them around him. But the ability to find them and locate them, just like those guys did at Table Rock, where they paired knowledge from Bull Shoals with visually seeing birds dive, also along with their great knowledge of electronics, pairing all that together to find the fish and then catch them.
Right. And, the electronics have become such a huge part of the game. Wyatt Guthrie, I'm going to pop this question up there, wants to know about your specific sonar setup. So just, if you can run us through your setup, that would be really cool and some of the features that helped you guys.
So, to find the fish that we were catching, they were really deep. And we knew that coming into this event, the last chance qualifier, that the fish were going to be on bait. And, just because this time of year, the fish are usually on bait. So we started graphing around, graphed some creeks with creek channels in them. And you would use your side scan to actually find the balls of bait. And then you'd actually see the fish under them. And then once you found that, you could throw down your trolling motor and use forward-facing sonar and actually see the individual fish swimming through the bait balls, and you could pitch to them with a Demiki rig and a spoon, but mostly a Demiki rig, and you could catch them. But using the same tactics we used there, we used at Table Rock, except on Table Rock they were out on the main lake and not in the creeks as much for us. But once we found as much bait as possible that we could, there was usually a fish under them, and that's how we caught them at Table Rock as well.
Gotcha. At what point during the tournament did y'all think you really had a chance to win, or was it one of those things where you didn't know until you got to the scales?
I don't know if we ever really, knew. I mean, obviously we were confident in our abilities to catch fish, but just kind of based on how the first 2 days of the tournament went, we caught some 3-pounders, but that was about as big as they got. And we were never really able to catch the largemouth like we did at Bull Shoals, which we thought it would take a big largemouth or two to win. I thought, going in the final day, we had a really good day. We could catch 15 pounds doing what we're doing. But we just stayed, consistent with it and did what we did. We didn't go and do anything stupid and try and catch, didn't go throw a giant swim bait down the bank or something like that. We just did what we knew how to do, and the good Lord blessed us with some key bites the final day that really paid off. And I think on the way in is really when we began to think that we might have a chance to win.
Wow. I can only imagine the feeling. Alan, we've seen so many people lift trophies over the years, but I don't know that we've ever seen anything quite like what went on there last week.
Well, yeah, first of all, they weren't going to lift those trophies over their head because they each weighed about 500 pounds. The trophy itself was like as big as the transmission in my Tundra. So the trophies were amazing in their own right, just the physical size of them. Yeah, I got an obvious question for you guys. I know it's only been 8 or 9 days, but have you thought about how you're going to spend? Each got $500,000 in cash plus the merchandise. What are you going to do with all that money?
I don't know. I'm looking into hopefully getting the YouTube series started for next season because I'll be fishing all 9 of the opens, and that's something that I've really wanted to do, but I haven't really been able to afford it. So I think that's probably where first thing I'm going to spend my money on.
Okay. How about you, Tucker?
Kind of the same. Use it wisely, spend it when I need to, and I'm gonna try to fish the opens and, like Logan said, and try to make it. But making the Elite Series is the #1 goal, and that's been my goal since I was a little kid, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm gonna do everything I can to make it there and not stop. So
let's just see if you guys can come up with an answer on this. Being young anglers, what would you tell a young angler that wanted to follow in your footsteps?
I would say, to stay persistent with it and never let anyone else tell you that you can't do it or you're not good enough. I started my high school team in 8th grade, and if you'd have told me I would have been holding a $500,000 check, short 8 years later, I'd have told them you're crazy. But just find something that you're passionate about that you love to do, and if it's fishing, just do it. And learn as much as you can. Watch videos, read the Bassmaster magazines. Don't just throw them away when you get them because valuable information in it. And just learn as much as you can while you're young and while you don't have to study for college tests all the time.
something I would say is have fun, because there's so many times I can remember when I stressed myself out and, I was just like, I got to catch them. And you think back and you really just remember the good times and the good tournaments you had. You just remember how fun it was. And, you got to have the most fun you can because you're not going to catch them if you're not having fun. And that's something I always try to do is have fun and never forget the moments that you share with the people that you fish with because those times will never go away. And just don't get frustrated with yourself and have fun.
Good answer. So can y'all remember like the first bass you ever caught and what you caught it on? 'Cause I can remember the first one I ever caught. So did that make that much of an impact on you?
Oh yeah, I caught my first bass with my granddad out of his farm pond on a June bug Zoom lizard with a yellow tail. Man, it was the best feeling ever.
I caught my first one when I was a little kid. I was actually with my grandfather as well, and it was in his little pond in his backyard.
Well, there is Cooper. Got me again.
It was on a shaky head.
Big head.
Dog, I'm gonna kill him.
I'm surprised it wasn't on a chatterbait, Tucker.
I didn't know I was
No
going to
doubt.
celebrate it when I was 4 years old.
Logan, I
Man,
got
I
a
remember.
question for you. For the younger guys that are watching, you said you're a super senior. I know you're president of the Auburn bass team. A lot of experience in the college ranks. Kid that's a junior, senior in high school. Give us 2 or 3 things that kid should be looking at when choosing a place to go to college if he wants to be involved in college fishing. What 2 or 3 things should he look for?
That's a good question. I would say the first thing I would look for is, make sure there's a good program with, good leadership, whether it's a coach or whether it's, just a great quality group of guys like at Auburn, we don't have a coach, but we just have like a strong team that, we all push each other to be better. So I would reach out to a few different schools and, shop around and see where you might fit best. I would fish as much as possible by myself or just with a buddy, because I remember the first half of my freshman year was an absolute disaster. I mean, me and my partner had never fished, without a boat captain. We fished like local tournaments and stuff, but like we hadn't fished any really big tournaments by ourselves, and so it was really, really intimidating. And we struggled probably the first half of the season just adapting to that. And then I would say have somebody that you want to fish with at that school, and make sure that whether there's a coach there or not, that you'd be able to partner up with them, because having a good partner is very key to success. You need to have somebody that's got a positive attitude, that wants to fish as much as you do, and I think that's really key to me and Tucker's success is just how well we work together.
Gotcha. And hang on, I think I found our audio problem. Maybe.
Sounds like somebody's popping some popcorn.
That's what it sounds like.
Sounds like somebody's writing an encyclopedia down there.
I don't know. I thought I found it, but I guess not. Let me see what we got here. Talked about the sonar. I'm sure this name means something to you guys. I want to give Emily a shout out. Yeah, I think I agree that you guys are going to be names that are going to be around for a long time. I'm excited to get to know you and spend some time with you. How about as far as, do y'all ever run into problems like decision making on the water? I know that team tournaments, that always seems to be an issue with some guys.
No, honestly, we really don't. That's one thing that me and Logan do really well is work with each other, work around each other's ideas, and we bounce off of each other. Bounce each other ideas off each other. So we have good chemistry on the water, and that's really important with fishing team tournaments. You got to make sure that you and your partner get along and fish well together. And I know whenever I'm doing something, Logan will always back me up with doing something different. We never try to really throw the same thing unless they're just absolutely chewing it. So we really just fish well together.
And that, you beat me to my next question. Do y'all throw the same baits or do you do something different? And you kind of answered that. when you say throw different baits, I mean, is it like extremes from somebody throwing a drop shot to the other guy throwing a big swim bait, or do you just let the fish kind of dictate that situation?
It just kind of depends. Like, I guess we kind of let it depend on like whose boat we're using and whatever. Like, for example, at Hartwell, we got on like a 1-2 punch, throwing a big swim bait around docks and skipping a wacky rig around docks, and Tucker kind of figured out the mag draft deal, so he was slinging that thing, and I was stuck on the back of the boat skipping a wacky rig. But you got to do it. Somebody. I mean, you may get a big bite on the mag draft, but that wacky rig picks up key fish. So it's. I mean, you just got to commit to doing whatever's working. But at Saginaw Bay when we won, I mean, obviously the only thing they'd eat was that flatworm. So we're not gonna not throw a flatworm. You just gotta. It's situational, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So while you're talking about the flatworm, what do you think makes that thing so good?
The scent, the max scent, man, it's insane.
It is pretty crazy. Alan, what do you think? Do you have an opinion on the?
He's muted.
What's your opinion on the max scent there, Alan? Oh, I got him muted.
He's muted.
He was the popping noise. All right, Alan, you're back with us, buddy.
No, obviously Logan has the right answer on that, and smallmouth seem especially attentive to scent as well as sight.
What would you rather catch, largemouth or smallmouth?
I'd rather catch largemouth, but I seem to be better at catching smallmouth.
I'd rather catch spotted bass.
Spotted bass. We always forget about those bad boys. We know a guy's pretty good on those things. Well, guys, I appreciate your time tonight. We're not getting near as many questions as I thought we were, but that's okay. We'll have you back on again sometime soon. And what are your plans now? What are you going to do for the rest of the year?
We're gonna fish college for the rest of the year and see how it goes, and then we're also gonna mix in some opens too, and try to do something with that. Right.
Do you have anything scheduled between now and Christmas?
We got one small last little college tournament on Clark's Hill in Georgia, December 18th. Neither of us have been there, so hopefully we can drive out there and figure something out.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem after y'all's last performance. You should be riding that what do you call that word? Momentum, I think.
Wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, again, sorry about the audio problems. I don't know what's going on with that, but I know you're both busy. Appreciate the time. Glad to finally get to meet you face to face, and we'll definitely have you back on for sure. Alan, I'm going to kick them off, but I need you to stay around for just a minute if you don't mind.
You bet.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks a lot, man. We'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.
Wrong one. Alan.
Yes.
I don't know what in the world was going on with that audio, but it was about to drive me crazy.
Yeah, it was funny on my end. When Logan was talking, it was clear. But when Tucker Smith was talking, it was really bad.
Yeah, so I mean,
and I can hear you totally clear.
It's a work in progress, so we'll get it figured out. You know that. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Bonus Bucks program and how big of a deal that is, how big it's been for Toyota. I've been with Toyota a long time, and my roles have changed quite a bit, but just
for those who don't know, Ricky actually used to turn wrenches on Toyotas. You're not going to say that, but I will. You know him from the inside out, pal.
That's right, buddy. It was a long time that I spent working on this thing, so that's why I choose to drive one. I know what's inside of it and what the dependability of the thing is. As far as the Bonus Bucks program, can you just anybody that knows a Toyota can get involved in it, right?
The Toyota Bonus Bucks program is a cash bonus program that we started in 2008. And it allows anglers of all levels, high school, college, all the way up to the pros to sign up if they tow their boat with a Toyota truck. That could be a Sequoia, a Tundra, a 4Runner, a Toyota truck that's 4 model years old or newer. So we go back 4 years to include those 4 years that are for eligibility. You sign up for free, ToyotaTrucksBonusBucks.com. And if you do well in your tournaments, not win, but do well, be the highest finishing eligible participant. So you could finish 7th in your tournament, and if nobody above you in those top 6 places are in bonus bucks, you still win the first place bonus bucks cash. And a few weeks later, we will mail a check to your mailbox. We verify that you were the highest finisher, take care of all the paperwork, if you will, at our offices there in Tulsa at Dynamic Sponsorships, and send a check to your mailbox. And again, it's inclusive from the college ranks all the way to the highest, obviously, professional levels.
So there's, what I think is impressive about it, there's a team trail or something that the guys are already fishing that they could probably get involved in, win them some extra money, and just for driving the best truck out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, it simply makes sense. There's no catch to it. There's no hidden cost or agenda. I mean, Logan Parks, who was just on, is a great example of that. 23-year-old kid, Auburn angler, University of Auburn fisherman, and he drives a 2017 Tundra, so he's still barely eligible in the program. When he gets this new truck, he's certainly going to be eligible, but driving an older model, but it's still eligible. Didn't cost him anything to sign up, and he's cashed a lot of bonus bucks checks as a college angler.
Wow. So, guys, that's something you definitely want to take a look at if you drive a Toyota now. And if you're in the market for a new truck, definitely give Toyota a look. Support the companies that support our industry. And Toyota is a huge part of that. Can you give us any insight on the new Tundra? I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I appreciate you asking, Rick. So we've had prototype models, if you will, at 2 Bass events in the last 6 weeks. Our Bonus Bucks Owners event at Table Rock, and then we had it also showcased it 2 weekends ago at the tournament these guys won there at Table Rock. So the all-new 2022 Tundra, truly an all-new redesign. We've had this current model look, if you will, for 14 or 15 years, and very little has changed with the Tundra. But truly, this is a total new redesign, new body style. Everything about it from the exterior looks different and new. And then the interior is absolutely mind-boggling new. It's got a 14-inch touch screen in it. But for bass anglers, bass fishermen that are listening right now, what do you care about? Well, you care about 2 things, torque or also horsepower. It's got more horsepower than the current Tundra with better fuel economy. I'm not gonna quote numbers right now, but improved fuel economy with better torque, better horsepower, and of course bonus bucks eligible. So still a very tournament angler friendly vehicle, but with more horsepower and better fuel economy.
Right. And you forgot to touch on one thing.
Tell me.
The owners tournament. The owners tournament, man. Come on.
Yeah. So the owners tournament, the Toyota Bonus Bucks owners tournament, is an event we hold every fall. We move it around to different locations. The first one was in North Carolina. It's been at Toledo Bend. Several of them have been at Table Rock, Lake Wheeler in Alabama. We move it around every fall. It's a 1-weekend event, no entry fee. Top 30 teams are guaranteed a paycheck. $5,000 first place to the first place team. Again, no entry fee. Tons of free swag, garb the night before. We feed you. Dinner the night before. Lunch at weigh-in. It's hosted by BASS, so they run the event for us. They actually do the weigh-in, the takeoff, the whole deal. Very professionally run. And this year, we gave away an all-new 22 Tundra in a random drawing. Guy didn't have to catch a fish. Happens to be the young man, I think he's 23 or 24 years old, won the Tundra in a random, pulled his name out of a hopper. And so, and he's an avid angler and comes from a Toyota family. When I interviewed him, he told me that he, his dad, and his brothers all run a Toyota. So a great story there.
The the one story that, from the owners tournaments, I think that catapulted a pretty popular pro angler's career at the first event ever, right? Mr. Hank Cherry, right?
He
Was that the first one?
Well, the owners tournament didn't catapult his career. Hank has bought 7 or 8 Tundras, so Hank Cherry's a long-time loyal Toyota Tundra buyer. We don't give him his trucks; he doesn't get a free truck. But I think what you might be referring to was maybe the boat that he won.
Right, when he won the boat.
Won the boat, yeah. That was not in a Toyota event, but
that was a big bass deal. That's right.
Yeah,
my bad.
It was a big bass event, right?
Yeah, that's right. With age, your memory starts to slip a little bit.
I hear you, pal. I hear you.
We do the best we could do.
But
So,
Hank actually was a special guest of ours this year there at Table Rock. So he's just there to meet and greet. The pros are not eligible for that owners event. No pros in it. It's just a great weekend of fellowship, a very fair event. And again, no entry fee, a lot of prizes. So when you're registered in bonus bucks, you can come be a part of that event every fall. And your partner, only one person in the boat has to be in bonus bucks. So we don't care that your partner's driving brand X. If you're in bonus bucks, you can bring he or she as a guest.
Right. Sounds like a great weekend. I know the few that I've attended have been pretty exciting and a lot of fun. What's going on in Oklahoma right now?
The whitetails just finished rutting, and the smallmouth and largemouth are got feed bags on for winter, buddy. It's my favorite time of the year in Oklahoma. I'm a warm weather guy. People that know me well know that. But as an outdoorsman, this is just a special time of the year in Oklahoma because, again, it's the peak of the whitetail rut is just now winding down, and I guess you could say the bass, again, have their feed bags on for winter. Our water temperatures right now are 50, 52, 54. So great shallow water bite. Catch them a variety of ways. Buzz baits, you can catch them flipping shallow, wake baits. It's a great time of the year in Oklahoma.
Well, man, I'm so glad you joined us tonight. Great show. Man, those two young guys, I hate to see what they accomplish.
Yeah, you touched on the it factor, and they both have it, man. They've proven that at all levels. High school, they're very well accomplished. College, and they've got it, man. So, and they're good guys. They're very strong in their faith, very polite, common sense driven young guys. So yeah, Logan Parks and Tucker Smith have a bright future ahead of them in this sport.
And guys, I'll tell you, if you want to keep up with Alan, it's Gut Fishing on Instagram, and it's well worth giving him a like and following him because he's always posting something super cool, big deer, big bass, or maybe just that random picture with the angler that you just won't believe. Yeah, it's awesome. We've been friends a long time. Enjoy working with you. When you see Luke, tell him I said hey, and we're going to shut this thing down for the evening.
I'll do it. Thanks for having me, bud.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.